Oh, what's in this box? Yes, it's a podcast.
Oh, okay.
That was a man who realized, like, literally, that's like fucking John Wick realizing he doesn't have a gun and just trying to come up with anything.
Okay, well done. You did it.
Yeah,
that was
we
good
made
enough.
It. That's the end of the episode, everyone.
Anyway,
make sure you keep subscribing to our Patreon. Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome to the Disney Desk, everyone. Carter here.
And I'm Sydney.
And welcome back to the holiday Patreon party.
Oh, the holiday Patreon party. Woo! Nice.
If you can't tell, I'm a little loopy because we just talked about Wish, and I was really stressed out about that. Hey! I didn't even sing in that episode. For a Disney musical.
Like, wow, that's really saying something. You must have been really zoned in if you forgot to sing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, folks, we're playing a little holiday game.
Yes.
Carter, did your family ever do Pollyannas growing up? We used to do them every year.
I actually didn't know that term.
Really?
No,
not even the Haley Mills movie?
I knew White Elephant.
Oh, okay.
Or like, yeah, I knew different term or Secret
White
Santa.
Elephant
I never heard the phrase Pollyanna.
Is what you do for your coworkers that you feel ambivalent towards.
Yeah, you're like, I have no sense
I went
of
to
their
Five and Below,
personality
and
in any way, shape, or form.
here's some junk. Okay, let me just. I don't care.
It's one of the honestly, we're talking suspension of disbelief with The Office. The multiple times they should have died, but also the time where they all get each other actually surprisingly thoughtful gifts that make sense for their characters.
Right.
I'm like, Stanley's not thinking about any of these people enough to know what to get them.
My family used to do Pollyanna every year, or just about every year. We haven't done it in a couple years, although it's been a couple years since we've all been like in the same place as a whole family. But growing up, we did Pollyannas every single year. So for those of you that don't know, Pollyanna is when it usually starts on Thanksgiving. You do it on Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yes, that's where you get your name. So basically, everybody puts their name on a piece of paper in a hat, essentially, and you go around the room. Everybody gets a random family member's name, and you are responsible. And sometimes, I think certain years we would even put like a couple of options or things that we like wanted on the piece of paper too. But I don't think that's customary. Like, maybe sometimes, not always, but I remember a year where we did do that. But basically, but you're family members, so you should know each other. But yeah, you get someone's name, and then you are responsible for getting them a gift for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There is something vaguely similar to that I used to do at Ren Fair, where we had like I forget what they call it, but like the idea is you if you sign up, you get given a name, and that gives you a list of like their likes and interest. Like they write down stuff they could use or things they like, and you give them like weekly little care package gifts. Mm-hmm. I got a really cute pouch out of that. I got a couple nice things from doing that, and then also I did it for someone to return the favor one time. It's basically Secret Santa. Like if you've ever played Secret Santa, like at your job or anything like that. But like you're given a person. It's all a secret. You can't tell anybody who you have, and then it's a surprise the day of, both what you're getting but more importantly who bought it for you. So we have a twist though. We decided to do a Disney version. I know for Thanksgiving on the Patreon party we did like, okay, what Disney characters would you invite to your Thanksgiving dinner? But now, we're playing a little Disney character Pollyanna, where Carter and I gave each other a list of 3 Disney characters. We kind of picked them at random. And, or I guess we can talk about why we picked them when we get to that. But, yes.
And we like, so those are your Pollyannas. So we gave each other Disney character Pollyannas, 3 of them. And the challenge is, what gift would be buy that Disney character.
Yes. But in terms of like the challenge, did you set any restrictions for yourself? Because like
No.
for some of mine, I'm like, should I pick only things they could get in their time period or their environment?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. I did the same thing.
Okay, great.
All right. Do you want to kick us off with your first?
Sure. Mine are a little. Well, okay. That's what makes it a challenge, right? That you got to get creative here. So, the first character on my list was Tigger.
Yes.
Carter, can you explain why you chose Tigger?
Because I was trying to think, like, I don't know, I was having trouble. I definitely wanted to do sort of an older. I knew I wanted to do one more modern character and one sort of older character at the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. And Tigger, for me, is one of my favorite Disney characters ever. So it was funny to see how you react. Like, he was my first, like, OG Disney character who I was obsessed with. So I was curious. I'm like, all right, how will you react to this character? You can tell I got at least bits and pieces of his personality, in terms, including a light speech impediment. So I was curious how you would approach this one. And it felt like a fun out-of-the-box one for you, because I think it's a character you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. So you would have to actually, like, think about it.
This was...
And, like, really put in the work.
Of all of the three that I had, like, surprisingly, this one was probably the hardest.
Right.
And I think my approach to this was really to all of these characters, was really no different than how I would buy a gift for anybody. Like, and my gift giving style is very much like I think throughout the year I really like listen carefully to like what people say that they like, or comments that people make about things, and then I like will remember it later. Or I try to make my gifts really personal. I consider myself like a good gift giver, actually. Okay, so for Tigger, and this is what I mean when I say that, like, no, there are no restrictions on, like, time period or relevance to them. I would get him, like, a gift certificate or a gift card or, like, a pass to Sky Zone.
Yeah, I was just talking about Sky Zone.
Yeah, I don't know, like, if Sky Zone is, like, a nationwide thing. I think it is. But it's basically, like, a trampoline park where, like, you go, you pay, and you bounce around on all of these different trampolines for, like, an hour or so. Like, you pay by the hour or something. I don't know. But,
Yes.
like, you just go there
Sometimes
and, like,
they
have a good
like,
time.
American Ninja Warrior stuff.
Yeah. They have certain, like, obstacle courses. But it's really just, like, a bunch of, like, crazy trampolines. It's, like, a whole room of just trampolines. And it's fun. And so I figure, like, why not create some anarchy and, like, make the employees there hate their jobs, if they don't already, by unleashing, like, a spring-loaded tiger into their park. So I would take him to Sky Zone or buy him a gift card there. I don't know how it works, but that would be my gift.
What's scarier than the lethal predator that is a tiger?
A
Give him
trampoline.
spring shoes.
Yeah.
On a trampoline. Fuck you, tiger trampoline.
Right, exactly.
I like that. That's a really creative one.
Thanks. Like, that's kind of my gift-giving style. Like, what do I think would be a good experience for somebody? What would be, like, fun for them? You know, stuff like that.
Right. All right. So my first one I got is Pinocchio, Holy Samokio. What inspired you to pick this one?
Well, I guess I did something similar to you than, like, okay, if I had to pick from, like, the quote-unquote classic canon, because I wanted to give my picks, like, a good variety of, like, modern, classic, a little bit of live action, a little bit of animated, this and that, you know. And I think I just had him on the brain. Like, I think I just had the Del Toro version on the brain recently. And he's just a character that I've just been, like, thinking about. And it's also a character we've talked about on the show a lot. When we did we cover we did something with Pinocchio.
We talked about it for like 10 minutes and we're like, this is the most we can commit to this without actually hurting each other.
Yeah. But it's one that we've talked about on the show, and I also thought it would be challenging, maybe so, you know. For what would you give a fake/real boy? I don't know. Okay, so what did you pick?
I went back. It's funny because I literally just watched this one for my watch through, And so many of the problems of this movie come from his ability to say no, specifically to that Fox fella, Honest John. He just keeps getting scooped up by this guy and thrown into new episodic shenanigans.
Yes.
So I went back and forth on what to give him. I thought about a self-help book about like how to say no to people, but I'm like, well, no, Jiminy Cricket teaches him that. He just doesn't apply it well. Then I thought maybe an Apple AirTag, so at least Geppetto can find him. I'm like, he'll lose that fucking thing.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I just went for the most militaristic option, pepper spray. Just teach Pinocchio, meet a stranger, tries to take you somewhere, spray him in the face.
Tries to get you to sign up for an MLM, spray him in the face.
Right, like, Pinocchio is very impressionable and very simple. At some point, we just need to get him, like, let's teach, like, again, like, anyone, like, it's like the assembly line logic of, like, even the least clever person can learn how to turn one gear for, like, 100 cars a day. Let's do that, but with the logic of strangers. You see a stranger, spray him in the face.
Spray him. You know, that's amazing because, well, first of all, I can see that going wrong in about a million ways.
I mean,
because this is Amelia Bedelia.
You don't,
like,
yeah,
you send him to school, he doesn't want to do his homework, he'll spray the teacher. Like, it's like that's what we're working with here. But like, I think another reason.
Look, if you give a monkey a typewriter, half the time he's just going to poop on it, but one or two times he's going to write a word.
Right. Well, I think you're reminding me of like another reason I gave this character, because I was like, okay, like we're working with like an element here, like we're working with wood, like maybe there's something there, right? Like, so I guess I picked this character based off like, well, what would I give him? And I definitely would have given him some sort of like polish or something, like, I don't know. I think I would have given him something boring.
Yeah, but see, the pepper spray works for that because it won't hurt his eyes. The problem with pepper spray is if you spray someone too close, you're just going to get in your eyes.
Catch a little bit of, yeah.
That doesn't affect him. Right. I mean, it'll seep into wood a little bit, I guess, but like, what does that even mean for him?
Right.
He doesn't feel. He has no feelings.
I guess.
Other than sadness and guilt.
The worst ones.
You got all the worst shit.
Right.
None of the good stuff about being human, all of the worst stuff.
Basically. Okay.
All right. Who is your number 2?
Oh, okay. My number 2 on my list was Ray from Princess and the Frog, the Firefly.
Yes. Do I need to explain this one?
Please
we both
do.
ended up doing a Princess and the Frog,
which is amazing, right?
Which is predictable. I knew it was going to happen, and I'm like, why fight destiny? Just accept fate.
Like, if you give me the challenge of making a list of anything, I'm going to fit Princess and the Frog on it.
Right. If there's one thing that's like consistent for our brand, it's like the need to have Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog onto stuff. Yeah.
Yes, but like anywho, I was like, but let's pick a character outside the box. Let's pick the least likely one for you. And I was like, Ray. People forget Ray.
They do, even though he's like the saddest part of that movie.
Right, he's the emotional linchpin.
Yeah, so this one stumped me too, but I kind of quickly came to this. I don't know if the logistics of this would quite work out that well, but I'm hoping that it will, as if I'm going to actually give this to him. I think I would commission an artist to do a painting of Evangeline, so that on nights where, like, there's too much cloud cover, because there are nights when you can't see the stars. I mean, not that they live in a city or, like, where there's like a lot of overhead, but, like, you know, sometimes you can't see any stars. So, but I don't really know where Ray lives. I imagine that he lives in some kind of tree hole, maybe. I don't know. But I would commission a tiny painting of Evangeline's star so that he could have it to look at when he can't see it.
I don't even have any quips for that one. That's just sincerely a sweet, thoughtful gift to give someone.
Yeah. I don't know. That one, like, when I thought of it, I was like, oh, yeah. It seems sort of obvious to me. But, I don't know. Like, what would you give Ray? I thought about some dumb ones, like I don't know, like some sort of flying thing, or maybe like armor. I was like, maybe that's too, like,
maybe a telescope, or like, you know how you can buy plots of land or buy stars. Literally just give him the deed and basically make it a marriage certificate.
Yours. Right. That would be cool. Yeah.
Right. Just be like, well, now you guys are bonded forever. That's a good one.
Thanks. Okay. So now on to your next one.
Yes, my Princess and the Frog character is a fun outside the box one as well. Mama Odie from also Princess and the Frog. This one was the hardest one of the bunch for me.
Yeah, I wanted to do something a little more abstract. What do you give to the gal who has everything?
Right.
And that's how I think of Mama Odie.
And also, it's like, I don't know. I could get her stuff to organize her cabinets or get her something to, clean up the place. But, I assume witches are very particular about what's in their home and, how it's organized. Yeah. We saw how bad Hal reacted when his bathtub got cleaned.
Right.
He turned into a goop boy. He just got gooped.
Right.
So my lazy option was an iPad. I'm like, I don't know. She might get a little lonely. Maybe
Isn't
she'll
she
appreciate
blind?
having it. Well, fuck. I'm glad I didn't pick
Not
that
that
one.
the blind don't use iPads. They have accommodations for them.
I was going to say, she has some kind of force sense. But the thing I ended up getting her is, a little massager. She looks very crinkled. She looks like she's got a lot of weight in her back. You know, one of those, massage guns where it's, a little ball.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Right. Because I think that would be good for her, but also would be good for her snake pet. Because, a snake is nothing but muscles.
Right.
And, I like the image of, a Disney animated snake just having one of those and being like,
Yeah.
Maybe not the most sophisticated gift, but I like to think it's a useful one.
It's something. It's an idea. Honestly, I do think that would be useful, for, what older person doesn't want to, wouldn't make use of a massage gun, honestly.
Right. She's very hunched. She's very creaky.
Right,
that
exactly.
just seems like a nice thing to have around the place.
Yes, I definitely agree. Okay, that's not bad. That's a good one.
Right. What were you thinking?
I have no idea.
I wanted to do something with stained glass because that cool shot where the sunlight comes in and all the bottles she has hanging up reflect, but I'm I couldn't think of anything for that.
I might pick jewelry or something because she wears a lot of rings. I think I would go the accessory route, maybe a new scarf or something. I would just get something pretty and ornate and that I think she'd like. That I think an old lady would like. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
And who is your number 3?
Okay, so I like that all of our picks are essentially the same.
Yes,
but that's okay.
I kind of because you sent me the only one first. I was 100% locked in on. The two I was locked in on were Tigger and Ray.
Okay.
And then it kind of your third pick kind of dictated my third because I like the idea that they were kind of parallel.
Right, yeah. Okay, so the third pick that I had was Captain Marvel or Carol Danvers.
Do. I can't remember the rhythm for her theme.
Yeah, I can't. Hers is a little.
It has bits of the Avengers theme in it.
Yeah,
and it's oh, that's fun because her call sign. But
right.
Yes, so I was originally going to do all of the Marvels, but I'm let's keep it simple. Let's just do the one.
Thank you for electing to keep it simple for me. Okay, Carol Danvers, which is this is one of my fave Marvel characters anyway. I also think in terms of characters, she's probably the one that is closest in similarity to me in terms of demographic.
Girl boss.
Okay, 20 something lady, yeah, girl boss, yeah, exactly. But I should be able to do this, right? So for this one, admittedly, this is kind of my least favorite of the gifts that I've picked out today. And this did present a challenge, but I suppose I was trying to really think in the box of her universe and her world and what it's realistic, but I chose to give her a Polaroid camera.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Go with the hipster gift.
Go with the hipster gift. No, only millennials. And we're not cool.
Listen.
But I chose to give her a Polaroid camera because, I guess I would want her to start, and this is totally based off of what we saw in the Marvels, but I think she should have a means to decorate her place and her space with pictures of her and her friends, she's got people in her life. She does, even though, that movie grapples a lot with her sense of isolation. She's got new people in her life and new memories to make. And and I kind of struggled with this gift because, like, I think, okay, everything in her world is, like, very high-tech and digital, and it's, like, obviously she can probably take pictures with something else, but this is a sort of about the sentimentality of, like, having physical photos that represent memories with specific people, especially since she's trying to, like, rebuild her memory from scratch, essentially.
Right.
Like, I wanted to give her a good opportunity to, like, make new memories and be able to see them around, maybe, like, in her ship or, like, in her new home, you know, things like that. So I wanted to give her, like, those, like, something to take physical photos with.
I think that's really brilliant, especially because it's, like, an 80s thing. Like, it's where she, or, like, 90s, it's where she grew up.
Right, yeah, she would know how to use it.
Yeah, I thought about this too. At the Ren Fair, they used to have a guy who made maps. Like, his whole bit was just, like, really detailed maps.
Nice.
Some of them were fantasy, some of them were real life. And I like the idea of having someone commission maps of all of the different places she calls home.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we get a little map with the musical planet, and it can... Oh, that would be fun. If, like, instead of longitude and latitude, it was just, like, bars.
Or something. Yeah, right.
Still... Again, I can't... It's going to be so annoying when fucking it's on Disney Plus and everyone's like, why didn't anyone tell me this had a musical sequence?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's almost like people like us were screaming it at you. Like, we haven't been subtle about our like of this.
No, not even a little bit.
But yes, my third and final one was Captain America.
Yes. Okay.
So you sent me your picks before I sent you mine. Why did you pick Captain America? You right before you asked if you could do Marvel Star Wars.
I had this idea first, and I was like, oh, wait, are we including Marvel and Star Wars? Good, okay. Okay, well, I guess I wanted something that felt like, well, first of all, I did really want to tie in Marvel and Star Wars somehow. But I thought he would be an interesting choice based off of, like, what we see in The Winter Soldier when... what's his name is like, have you ever heard of Marvin Gaye? Like, and he's got this whole notebook of everybody being like, go watch, you know, Independence Day or whatever.
Yes.
Like, I think everybody who comes in contact with him wants to leave something with him or sees him as, like, an opportunity to, like, expose him to something or share something that they think is cool. Like, he's like a walking time capsule of, like, oh, like, I want to share the thing with you that I like.
Right. He's this sentinel. He's this, like, icon. And it's nice. Yeah. It's like giving a gift to the Pope, almost. It's like, this is what I want to impart upon you. You've given us so much. Here is my
Right. You're a blank slate,
return.
Almost. And I, yeah, I would want the opportunity to, like, share something with you. Like, since you're totally
how the
unbiased.
Pope gets Undertale.
Right, exactly.
Are you familiar with that story?
No.
Matt Pat, the game theory guy, got to meet the Pope. Apparently a bunch of YouTubers just got to meet the Pope for some reason as, like, a goodwill thing. He gave him a copy, like a hard drive with Undertale on it, because he's like, this is a symbol of what gaming can be. And I'm like...
No.
All right, the heart's there, but that's cringe.
Yeah,
cringe.
That's hard,
You made cringe.
Yes. Ugh.
God, fucking you. We're really coming at YouTubers today.
Right, they're clowns.
Yeah,
right.
I just gave the Pope 47 different copies of Undertale, and you won't believe what happened.
And then in, like, asterisks, it'll be, like, dramatic. Like, yeah.
God, we are clowns.
Oh, my God.
Well,
okay.
see, I had two different gifts, because I wasn't sure in the timeline. I assumed that's what you meant. Like, this is right when he got out of the ice.
Yeah.
So I have a gift for if he just came out of the ice versus a gift that...
was, like, relevant to his personality, yeah.
Yes. So, if he just got out of the ice, the thing I would want to give him is a twofer. It is a copy of the video game BioShock and the film Avatar. I was like, from, like, our growing up, like, 2000 to 2015, what are, like, the important cultural thingies? And I was like, well, Avatar feels like, for all the discourse about, like, Avatar has no cultural impact, blah, 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 I'm like, all right, but, like... how many other films are so iconic from this era? Like, everyone knows Avatar. Like, it's one of the films you kind of just have to see at some point to get it. So I'm like, copy of that, pair of 3D glasses, and then for me, this era for
the 3D
video
glasses.
Right. Well, it's cooler with the 3D.
Right.
I'm like, as annoying as seeing, like, I was so mad because I'm like, we ended up seeing Avatar 2 last Christmas, and we saw a regular definition, and I'm like, why am I risking COVID in a packed theater and not seeing this in 3D? What are we doing here, people? Like, the 3D's the whole thing. He pioneered technology. But anyway. And the video game is BioShock, because I think from our growing up, at least for me, this was like the seminal video game of like, oh, video games can be an art form that tells a story and like has themes and motifs and like reoccurring things. And also it's like you want it to be something that's personal to you, right? Because like anyone can give them a copy of Pac-Man, but like this is what matters to me.
Right.
And assuming this is like Endgame Steve, who's been around the block long enough to like kind of catch up, a beer making kit.
Oh, interesting.
He strikes me.
Yeah, he seems like a man, like one of those men that make their own beer.
Well, because it's interesting because they mention in First Avenger that he can't get drunk anymore. His metabolism is way too intense, so he just burns through it before it can do anything. So I like to think he appreciates like the craft of beer, like the artistry of like. It is funny, like, I get so hard on, like, gambling. I'm like, it's evil, we should ban it, we should, like, quarantine it to Vegas, it's, like, a sin. But I'm cool with drinking. But it's, like, there's an art to beer, there's an art to wine. It takes, like, a skill and a craft and years of training to hone it. And I feel like he would be a guy who, like, appreciates the meticulous nature of that hobby. Of, like, finding the right ingredients, brewing them correctly, and creating something.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right about that.
What would you give Cap if he just got out of the ice?
Honestly, I think this would be like a surprising one for me, but I would actually give him a copy of Porco Rosso.
Wow. God, you're that sold on it?
Oh,
I love it was Captain America. I know you love it, but Captain America level?
It's a military movie. It's an
anti-war movie, which he'd appreciate.
Yeah, it's a movie about like a war-worn dude, like, just making his way through the world. Yeah. Trying to, like, reckon with war and what happened to him in the war and things like that. I think he would love it.
Right. Especially because he gets the girl at the end.
Right, exactly.
God, that's a great pick. Well done. I'm glad I've gotten it. I'm glad you're now an acolyte of the Church of Fox and the Church of Porco.
Right. Yes. Me too.
This was a very fun exercise.
Yeah, this was a good one for us.
Were there any other characters who didn't make the cut for you?
I mean, like when I say I was gonna do something Princess and the Frog related, I like resisted the urge to just pick Tiana.
Same.
Because the princesses are like, okay. I don't know. Like, what about you?
I thought Merlin would be kind of like a fun off-the-wall one. I tried to go really outside the box for, like, classic. I didn't want to, like... Yeah. I was like, Dumbo, that's too obvious. Like, then I was like, I thought Snow White, and then I'm kind of like, I went through the dwarves, and I'm like, these 17s, who are also dwarves. I was like, I'm not feeling any of these. I did go through Star Wars for a bit. I was surprised, like, I was really tempted between Finn and Randy.
That's interesting, since the Star Wars universe has, like, so many little trinkets. Right. Like, people have keepsakes. But they also don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah, but I feel like it's a movie where, like, everybody's got, like, a little keepsake trinket with them. That they're like, oh, this is my toy from childhood. Right,
where... very toyetic franchise, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, where an innocuous pair of dice that someone sprayed gold and put on top of the Millennium Falcon somehow become this, like, emotional core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
God. We can't go back to talking about Star Wars.
No, not after what we've been through.
I don't know. Maybe next year for April. Like, when it's literally 2 years since last April.
Right, exactly. Maybe.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Did we have any other parts of this exercise we were doing?
Not that I can think of. I think that was pretty much it. This was a snappy one.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say we could say what we're giving each other as gifts, but we could probably save that for Podmas.
What do we... Wait, okay, pick a character, and, like, what do you think they would give as a gift? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or, like, what about the character... Like, pick one of the characters that you had for Pollyanna. Like, what do you think one of them would give you as a gift?
Well, I don't know what he would give me, but I would definitely want Captain America because he very much strikes me as a great listener who gives great gifts.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever it is, it's going to be personal and well thought out. Whereas Tigger, it'll be chaos, and Mama Odie's a wild card.
Right,
it'll be cryptic.
Right.
I don't need cryptic for Christmas.
Oh, no, Pinocchio. You had Pinocchio. What would Pinocchio?
Oh, Pinocchio, yes.
That would be crazy.
That would be an even bigger disaster.
Yeah, he would.
At least Tigger has a general sense of reality around him.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Can you like? It's insane to say that someone like Tigger is more reasonable than Pinocchio.
Is more lucid and aware of how things work.
Right.
Whose whole bit is irrational confidence and jumping into things before thinking.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Who would you want?
Okay, wait, what did I have? Ray. I had Tigger. Well, honestly, I think I would pick Carol Danvers, honestly. Because again, like, we're kind of the same demographic. Like, there's some pretty universal gifts that you could just get, like, a 20-something girl and not be fine. Like, honestly.
Carol, God, I'm trying not to be mean. She would either give a good gift. I can't tell if she's someone who would give a fun gift or just give cash. She feels like she could fall on either side of the spectrum.
Like, you could get, like, a gift card from her, and that would be that. And honestly, fine.
Yeah. And not, like, a thoughtful gift card, like an Amazon gift card. Like, getting a gift card to, like, a Lego store, that would be cool. Because, like, ooh.
No, it would be a Visa gift card that you get from the bank.
The one that takes the most work to get anything out of.
Right, you have to call the number and, like, to activate it.
Yes, I can't, but then I'm like, I don't know, she's cool, though. Her persona is, like, she's cool.
She would give, like, she would give some, like, cool space jewelry that she got from the one planet she goes to, or from...
She strikes me as someone who just scoops up things and is like, this might be useful. Yes. This might be a fun thing to give someone later. I'll figure out who it goes to later.
That's exactly what she would do.
Right. It's one of those two extremes. Nothing in the middle.
No. Yeah.
And until we're sitting around the tree handing each other gifts again, I'm Carter.
And I'm Sydney.
Have a magical day.
Thanks for listening.